Hi, Jeanne Schnupp here. Welcome to another of the new Savvy Sightseer video vacation series. Today we are piggybacking on the summer reading program theme of Imagine Your Story. In this segment, we'll spark your imagination and give you the tools to design your fantasy trip. Although travel is restricted at the moment, there's no limit to dreams and virtual trips. There are a multitude of apps and websites that are the greatest travel tools of all time to help you shape your journey. There are so many options, though, that it is easy to get overwhelmed and go off track. Even longtime users of such well known sites as Expedia and Trip Advisor, or search engines like Google and Bing, don't know how to use them effectively and efficiently. You'll learn some tricks and tips to make your searches fun and your planning an exciting challenge to put together the trip of your dreams. Then, when airfare gates and areas reopen, all you'll need to do is make your bookings and pack your bags. Well, you may have to make some adjustments for reality restrictions of budget and time, but that's for then. For now, those don't really matter. Ignore all the COVID 19 warnings on these sites. They don't apply to virtual vacations. No matter what type of trip you like, plane, train, automobile, or whether the destination is near or far, there are lots of apps and sites to use. Access is available in multiple ways: online, or apps that you can use on your phone or tablet. Some are only used as apps, but they also might have websites to learn more about what they offer. Most are available for both Android and Apple devices, but this does change daily and more options are always coming. I can't possibly take you through all that's available, so we're going to focus on some of my free favorites. Don't be thrown if the websites or apps appear differently when you get to them. Their looks are constantly updated, but the information is generally still there, just perhaps in a different spot, so look around the site for it. So, what story of your ideal vacation will you imagine? As Shakespeare said, the world is your oyster. Where will your journey take you on your virtual vacation? The first step in planning has to be figuring out where to go, what type of a trip you want, and then how to get there. Unless you have a bucket list place in mind, narrowing down the where can be harder than you realize. There's so many options. Well, the good news is there's an internet world full of people and sites that want to help you with that. Some sites are prompters. They'll give you categories and you can scroll through them until something strikes your fancy and the light bulb goes off. Here are just a few of the many planning tools out there. Most have apps too, but the big screen is sometimes easier to scroll through and it has more information. Some sites are dedicated to exploration. Some include it as one aspect of the overall site. Many sites are now one stops. They have information and booking options. Some are better for certain areas than others. You'll find the ones that best suit your surfing style and interests. There is no one perfect site. Cross checking is always a good idea because for most, the bottom line is these are businesses that are being recompensed in some way to make recommendations. So, as with anything, it is buyer beware. Expedia and several big hotel chains have been sued for suppressing competition in online bookings. Ads for those who pay the most for certain keywords were placed higher in rank than others. Checking out more than the top few results of a search could then lead you to the real gems. Let's look a little closer at some of these tools. You may have to be 50 or over to join AARP, but there's no age requirement to use their travel tools. Here you can browse by destinations, where each are linked to options for types of travel in a region, specific city highlights, and regional guides, or click on vacation ideas for specific categories such as family vacations, history, or outdoors, and tips on the best time to go and what to do. One I really like uses an entirely different approach. Minubay is a social travel network. It's built from traveler and local input. Its motto is get inspired and start planning. You can either plug in where you want to go or select from various options. The goal of this site is to provide inspiration for travelers to discover new destinations, sites, restaurants, hotels, and shops, both locally and away from your home turf. What sets this apart is that they use only positive recommendations, not objective reviews, so you won't find any negative assessments. While of course you don't know who is behind a post, and unfortunately it may be someone who can gain by recommending a place, it's still fun and informative to wander through their videos and over 800,000 photos uploaded by their community. I find the cross-linking with Booking.com distracting, As a former computer and marketing teacher, I understand the practice, but I find it annoying nonetheless and just ignore them. I do like the overall different approach of using what has excited others about a venue. The bottom line is there's a search style for every taste and comfort level. Maybe this one suits yours. Every website can give you a different piece of the puzzle. It is worth checking several to see if a theme starts to emerge of places you find interesting. U.S. News and World Report's approach is to identify why you might want to go to a particular place, like Yellowstone Park. It says it's an outdoor enthusiast paradise with breathtaking natural attractions, good for all ages. There's miles of paths, hot springs, and mud pools. It's America's oldest national park. This site also offers travel tips, the best month to visit, what the weather might be, and how to save money. If you have a favorite magazine or travel TV show, check if they have a website as well. Some popular ones are Parent Magazine, you just put travel in the search bar, and of course Travel Channel. And my all-time favorite travel guru is Rick Steves. You can use Google or Bing to search general topics. One tip, use quotation marks to narrow the focus of search results. Quotes link a phrase to search instead of a single word, so enclose something like top vacations for whatever your interest is, like solo or family or beach or culture, etc., in quotes, and that will limit your search. And of course, there's social media. On your Twitter page, you could find networks of like minded people by going to Home, selecting More, then Hobbies and Interests, and Travel. Select which topics you'd like to get tweets about. Bear in mind there are so called influencers who are paid to guide people in certain directions. So sift through the tweets for what you truly find interesting. Likewise, on Facebook, you can simply put travel ideas in the search bar and you'll come up with oodles of sites, blogs, and groups you can investigate. All of these sites provide prompts to get you thinking and help you start narrowing down the field of options. They may make you realize there is some criteria you want, as well as what doesn't interest you at all. To help organize your findings, you might want to use a table like this to record your preferences. You can then start adding places and items as you further tailor your options. You can print one out by going to the More tab on my website and then to the Go Solo tab. Scroll down for the suitcase, click it to download and print your own. Also, you can print a sheet of internet addresses for all the sites and apps and more that I'm discussing in this video. Okay, now that you know where you want to go, let's get you there. If your trip involves flying, air planning and booking is an important next step. Most people head first to aggregator sites, those that collect and organize content from other sites, such as airlines, hotels, car renters, and such. All work similarly, so I'll walk you through a commonly used one. By the way, many are now under one umbrella but kept their original names. One group includes Expedia, and that has Hotels.com, Travelocity, Hotwire, Trivago, Orbitz. Another is Booking.com that has Priceline, Kayak, etc. One of the oldest of these sites is Expedia. First, you select an option from stays or hotels, flights, car rentals, vacation packages, and cruises. Many of these aggregators push bundles or package deals. They are a fast way to book all at once, but are not necessarily the best deal for you. I suggest you check them all for comparison. Packages versus individuals, as well as compare individual website prices versus the aggregator. Above all, read and understand the terms of the contract. That is the fine print, especially about canceling. Some say free cancellation within 24 hours. Well, that's generally not within 24 hours of the flight. It's more likely within 24 hours of making the booking. If something happens down the road, you'll be paying for changes. I'm going to select flights only for a trip to Strasbourg. So despite selecting flights only, the top return is a nudge for a bundle. When you click on it, you get smart move, traveler. Package buyers get the best deals. I think that's questionable. Sometimes they pair a good seller with one that's not as popular to kind of get rid of it. I checked their package, and for $2,960, I would get the air and hotel, but the hotel was non-refundable with just a twin bed. For the same flight and conditions offered in the bundle, it would cost $992 round trip. I could separately then book a hotel in the same area with a king-size bed for $1,475 more and just one night's cost for cancellation. That comes to $2,467, almost $500 savings for a better arrangement. With a little effort, you can get some good savings and options when not doing a package. There are two key terms you need to help you search more efficiently. Filter. That means limit returns to exactly what you want. You could select airlines to include or exclude. So this further refines your choices and thinking. Sort by is the other term. Use this to put the results in some kind of order. You can put it from price low to high, or how long the flight is, or how many stops or connections there are. You can even specify a departure time range. Think how much needless scrolling you would avoid using these tools. Now on to checking flights alone. This is just a snapshot. Always check all the information provided, namely the small print and especially the baggage info, because many are now charging for a checked bag, and that amount could vary quite a lot, altering your final total cost for comparison. Only when that's taken into account can you really compare the airline prices. Many aggregate sites will redirect you to the airlines for the specific fees. So let's check on details and or baggage fees for this particular flight. The first thing that really pops out now is the length of this flight, about 11 and a half hours. That seems a bit long given Paris is usually only about a 7 or 8 hour flight, and Strasbourg is roughly 300 miles from Paris, maybe an hour or so more. So what's up? Okay, let's take a closer look at the details. Note the layover times and locations. There's a 1 hour layover, 1.5 hour layover. But what is CDG? Oh, that's the airport code. It's good to know if a layover is in line with the destination city or if it takes you out of the way, adding unnecessary travel time. Going from here to Florida, I avoid flights that connect through Chicago or Boston. So it is 7.5 hours to France and an hour and a half layover. What's the rest of the time for? 2.5 hours to fly to Strasbourg? Oh, the second leg isn't a flight at all. You are transferring to a train. Now you have to make sure you and your luggage can get to the train. And will you need to pay extra to take a taxi to it? There's lots to look at before clicking book. Most of these types of sites have some kind of a scratch pad, a record of the times and dates you last searched, so you can jump to them without having to enter all the information again. You can set up email alerts to let you know of any changes, so you don't have to keep checking to catch a lower fare. Sometimes I use Skyscanner or Airfare Watchdog. Skyscanner will let you look at specific dates or a whole month for comparison when setting up a trip alert. Airfare Watchdog calls it Track This Route, and it also lets you set up alerts for any deals from your local airport. Google Flights is lesser known but offers good options. It's a super fast site and offers nearby dates to consider. Great if you can be flexible. There are drop-down arrows next to airlines, flight duration, or layover cities. Click these for more choices. I like their Explore Destinations map for arrival options. For a flight from San Diego to New York, it shows 4 airport options in the area and their prices. It's important to find out if a cheaper airport is as accessible to your final destination as another before choosing it. You can also use this map tool if you're not sure where you want to go. Instead of entering cities and dates, just put in your home airport and you can see a comparison of prices to destinations all over the world for a general range of dates. This is really good for getting a sense of which regions are in your budget, but they're guesstimates until you plug in specific dates and destinations. But this is how I realized I could take a quick hop from Scotland to Sweden for only about $75 nonstop. It helped me to decide to combine those destinations. Google is always updating its look and moving things. Right now you have to click on flights for the map. Usually on any web page, you'll find 3 horizontal lines. Click the ones like these up here in the upper left-hand corner, and they will lead you to a menu or directory of the site. You might look there if you can't find information easily elsewhere. Hopper is another way to book flights, but it's one of the exceptions. It operates as an app only. It does have a web presence, though, and that lets you see how the app works before you would download it, and directs you either to the Apple or Android store for the free app. Another option, and one you should always check out, is the individual airline site. This has advantages. One of the drawbacks to the aggregator sites is that they don't accommodate for using miles, and not all of them allow you to do multi-city searches, such as when you're flying into one city and out of another, not flying round trip. For those, you have to go to the particular airline. This I found when I was looking to fly into Salzburg, Austria, but out of Vienna, Austria. There are several things to look at here. Why is it a 22-hour trip there, but a 12-hour trip back when Vienna is farther east? Oh, because it has an overnight layover. And then you have to factor in the cost for a hotel. And looking closer, you realize, oh, they're even dealing with two different airports. You're flying into London Heathrow, but out of London Gatwick, which is about 45 minutes away, so you have to factor in how you're going to get there. Also, look to see if it's the actual carrier. This is an American Airlines site, but the plane is being operated by Air Berlin. And then it's also good to look at the flight times very carefully. If your flight leaves an international airport at 7 a.m., you have to be there by 5 in the morning. When would you have to leave the hotel by? Again, look at all the details before booking. A nice feature of American, only offered though on its round trip, not multi city trips, is a price calendar. So if you can be flexible, you can easily find out if another date is cheaper. Many others do this too. Southwest is one of the greater ones. Its option for this is even easier, but then you have to click the date to find out if the lowest price ones are viable in terms of departure times and layovers. By the way, not all carriers are listed with the aggregates. Southwest is not, so you have to use their site. Once your flight is figured out, there are some more tools to make the experience better. Passing time between TSA and actual gate check in can be a bit tedious, except for elite frequent flyer travelers who can enjoy fancy airline lounges. But now, through Lounge Buddy, all travelers can book guaranteed access to these airport oases, but for a fee. The app lets you explore lounges in airports around the world and browse photos, amenities, and reviews from other Lounge Buddy members. FlightAware has a nifty feature. It's called a misery map, a real time visualization of flight delays and cancellations across the United States. Seat selection sites are a big help when choosing where you'll spend several hours in the air. Some individual airlines give you maps from which to choose a seat. Here's American Air's seat selection. You have to ask yourself, is it important to look out the window? Or do you prefer the aisle so you don't have to climb over somebody to get out? A first row seat is convenient for quick exits if you're connecting, but there are some downsides. There's no tray or TV screen in front of you, nor under seat storage, and it could cost more for the extra legroom. What I like to look for is where there are two seats only and both are open. I take the aisle and play the odds that someone doesn't want a window seat to climb over me. It only works if the flight's not full, and it only works about half the time, but when that seat stays empty, I get to spread out. For almost any airline, you can go to a specialty site like Seat Guru. That gives you more than just seat maps. It examines other amenities and color codes them for quick assessments. Red, that seat might have a major problem, like it doesn't actually recline, or it's in a colder part of the plane, or it's next to the bathroom where people are going to be leaning on your seat all night. Yellow says there's some concerns, like it might not recline fully, or the window might not be aligned properly. And green is good, extra legroom maybe. If you can't get a seat you prefer, all hope is not lost. There's sites like Expert Flyer. You can put in an alert for when a seat you prefer opens up. Sometimes seats are pre-booked by agencies or companies, and then these open up closer to flight time or when someone cancels. Airport maps are useful for learning the layout of gates for connections, especially if you're in a rush, or for shops or restaurants if you're not. Like with most flights, you can use aggregates to get ideas, but you should also go to individual hotel sites for rooms. Often I have had a hotel offer a discount from the aggregate for booking direct, and some are not listed on the aggregates at all, so they can save you the commission fee and offer lower prices. You can also use travel forums like Trip Advisor for more personal suggestions from other travelers or to find out about those not listed with the aggregates. When using private accommodations like Airbnb, use care. Some are great, but I've heard some horror stories, so make sure you do your research. We'll use Hotels.com just for demonstration purposes. Booking.com and others work the same way. Some inundate you with marketing calls to action or try to frighten you into quick booking saying there's only one room left, but that might only be on their site and just for that moment. Here again, you can use the sort and filter options from the arrows to find extra choices or by moving the slide bar to set a range for a nightly rate. This saves so much time and needless scrolling. Be sure to read details. In this case, the first hotel is more expensive and does not have free cancel. But it's an important step to check distance to the main sites you want to see as well. If it's more than walking distance, Find out just how easy and expensive it is to use transport or to drive and park your car to get there. In this case, wait, the cheaper hotel isn't actually in France. Do you want to be commuting from Germany to get to your destination in France? You can examine a hotel and the room amenities. A hotel may say free Wi Fi, but if you don't check, you may find out later that's only in the hotel lobby and not in each room. Photos on these sites are generally professional and may not show the whole picture. I like to go to places like TripAdvisor, which displays real guest pics for what they actually encountered. You should also weigh the cost of free or nearly free cancellation. Anything can happen: weather issues, transportation disruption, or, as we've all learned, a pandemic could strike out of nowhere, and you don't want to pay for something you can't use. Other options I consider are free breakfast. That's very convenient for starting your day and meeting other sightseers. If you're driving, check if there's parking on site and if there are other fees to that. Sometimes I plug in extended dates to find the best range. This one is less expensive if I can stay on a weekend. Also, look for loyalty rewards or promo codes. Some hotel sites give additional options. Room 77 claims to have the largest database of hotels, over 270,000 worldwide. Hotel Tonight shows last minute deals. Of course, there are tools for other types of traveling, by boat, train, or car. iCruise.com operates like other destination discoverers, but it's just for cruises, so it's faster to narrow down destinations. There's a lot less cruise ports than airports. Cruise.com and Cruise Sail Finder are useful too. Among these, you'll find deck plans and specific ship information. Cruise ports, points of interest, regional history, even maps. There's also excursion options and itineraries for most cruises. Some provide a gallery of vacationers' pictures or give cruising tips and cabin choice suggestions, as well as the ability to set up price drop alerts. Shipmate app has a bunch of features to help get you excited and prepared for your cruise. There are cruise countdown clocks to tick off the days to departure and deck cams so you can see what the people are wearing. The man in seat 61 will recommend routes, times, how to buy tickets, and the cheapest train routes worldwide, including the United States. Rome to Rio is definitely one of my favorites. It gives you all kinds of options to get from point A to point B by train, bus, car, taxi, and air, along with their approximate prices and time needed. It specifies bus or train route numbers and gives you how many stops would be along your way. City Mapper is a very highly rated app covering mass transit options. It gives departures in real time, suggests fastest routes, combining bus, subway, train, ferry, taxi, car share, bike share, and even walking. City Mapper gives step-by-step directions, including the best subway exit to reach the platform, and sends alerts when a particular line is experiencing a disruption. Very importantly, you can use maps offline on this one. Not every place has usable Wi-Fi all the time, so whenever using an app map, make sure it is possible to set it for offline as well. You won't get the real-time data, but at least you'll still be able to find your way around. Search the app for this feature. The downside is it currently only helps in about 40 major cities. Transit app is another one for major cities only, and it has a nice add-on of traveling by bike, car, or Uber. Google Maps is very diverse and offers more options daily. It gives alternative routes and transportation, typical mileage and drive time, and even identifies construction. Turn-by-turn directions can be either by print or vocal and are very useful. It's a good idea to take screen captures to use later if you need it to be used offline. When going to a library I'm not familiar with, I use the Street View tool. That's the little orange guy in the corner. You drag and drop him on a spot, and then I can see the landmarks for critical turns to really familiarize myself with the area. Road Trippers is for those who aren't in a hurry to get to just their final destination and want instead to find a few off-the-beaten-path places to visit along the way or just discover interesting spots in their own backyards. Its route planner includes instant fuel estimation and a function to explore places within a set distance from your route. iExit is a good pit stop finder or for something to break up a trip by letting you know what's at the next exit. Gas Buddy shows prices by name as entered by other drivers in real time, but generally only for cash. A drop-down option gives you the cost for premium, mid-grade, diesel, and then you can click on a map option for those who don't know the area names. Waze shows general traffic flows and problem stops with real-time updates, even speed trap and red light camera alerts. But keep in mind it can be edited, so is it always accurate? One guy was found to repeatedly report stoppages on his street. Turned out there weren't any, he just didn't like cars coming down his block and found this was a good way to redirect them. As you build your trip, you could find keeping track of reservations a bit overwhelming. So, of course, there's apps to help you. For some, you plug in your information. For others, you send all those email confirmations to them and they organize it all for you. Again, here's the former computer teacher warning you. Keep in mind you are giving your whereabouts and other information to a third party. So do so only if you have considered the ramifications of that and have read the fine print about what they can do with your data. I find Sightseer fun for all that it gives you. You identify the town and dates you'll be at, and it gives you pop-ups of sites in the area with critical information, such as the suggested time needed to do a site justice. You click the plus for ones to add to your itinerary. It's easy to get excited and want to add everything that pops up. Sightseer gives you a reality check, and you can see when the time needed for all your activities exceeds the number of hours in a day. It then combines your choices and lets you download or print them for a cohesive itinerary, including directions, amount of time, fees, hours, websites, etc., all in one spot. TripIt combines your forwarded email information. Generally, these apps provide more than enough tools in their free versions. I haven't found a need to do so, but they do also offer pro versions that include more options, but of course, for an added cost. Once you get to your destination, there are any number of ways to see what you came for. Tours can be booked through a central agent or a local one, or there are do-it-yourself walking tours. Viator is one I've used. It hooks you up with tour groups in local areas, but it is a US-based company. On one trip overseas, a guide didn't show up. Since I'd booked with Viator instead of him directly, they handled the issue and ensured a refund, which the guide hadn't been prone to do. And Viator even threw in a voucher for a future tour. Since these companies deal in bulk bookings, they are sometimes cheaper than going direct with locals. As with hotels, though, some locals will offer a discount for direct booking. Always worth an email just to check. Get Your Guide is similar, and click-throughs give additional information like key details, tour duration, and traveler reviews. Audio tours let you bypass group tours and get the same experience on your own with the conveniences of pausing, rewinding, etc. As I mentioned, I do like Rick Steves and have used his free audio guides in many cities. Pocket Guide figures out where you are based on your GPS, and a voice recording made by a local guide describes the sites around you. Your virtual tour guide explains it all and shares personal insights, as well as reviews that might help you decide where to eat, drink, and shop. Triposo covers about 200 countries and thousands of cities. With all these apps, remember to check for an option to use maps, routing, and city walk information offline. Most tourist destinations have websites by their Department of Tourism, which are fully vested in sharing their city with visitors. Unfortunately, these are often overlooked, but they are not commission-based like tour agents are, so they offer a wide range of activities, more detailed local information, and history. Sometimes they even provide discounts and coupon links. Time Place is different in that it is more focused on non-tour options, events in the area, or meetups, which are great to decide what to do locally as well as on vacation. Without doubt, at some point you'll want to get something to eat. Yelp is one of the many apps to provide dining information and general pricing. Maps make it easy to find places to eat within a specific area. Clicking on a place gives even more details. On a sidebar here, you see everything from whether credit cards are accepted to the type of ambiance that would be addressed. Others include Foursquare for tips, menus, and price ranges. You can even search places and save them to your to-do list available offline. Zomato used to be Urban Spoon, a popular site. Open Table lets diners find and book a table. Menu Pages is good for accessing menus by cuisine or location. Some even show the prices. This is especially handy if the menu is in a different language. You can translate the menu items ahead of time and know what to order. Around Me allows you to search for restaurants, banks, gas stations, book a hotel, or find even a movie. at your chosen destination, whether home or abroad, based on, again, the GPS data. It's also available in various languages: English, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Chinese. And if you're a TV food show junkie, TV Food Maps is for you. Beyond basic travel apps, there are ones that are great accessories. YouTube videos can walk you through airports or supermarkets, which is helpful to gauge prices and availability nearby. There's also ones for packing tips. I find Walter's World one of the many that give you some good points and tips with a dose of humor thrown in. No matter where you're going, knowing what to expect weather-wise is useful. There's AccuWeather or Weather Channel for these. They are long-range predictors and, well, they are weather predictors. So take it as a guesstimate. If traveling abroad, it is useful to have at least a small amount of the local currency before you go. Check with your bank to see if they will sell you foreign money. Then compare the total cost. That means exchange rate, fees, and charges. And then compare that to other sources such as AAA, if you're a member, or online at sites like International Currency Express. This one is delivered to your home for no additional cost. Making a cheat sheet is a good idea to making buying in a different currency a bit easier. Foreign travel is immensely easier with a converter app. Converter Plus has it all covered: temperature, currency, weight, and distance. You'd like to know easily if it's 20 degrees Celsius, do you need a jacket? If it's 40 kilometers away, can you walk? Currently, this one is mostly just for Apple products, but there are others for Android users. And contrary to popular belief, not everyone in other countries speaks English. So, translation app is a necessity in some regions. Google Translate has a nifty tool, a camera feature. You bring the word or phrase into your camera's viewfinder, and it translates directly on the screen. I've had mixed results with this one, but when it works, it is great. Yandex is a translator I really love, and best of all, it works offline, as long as you remember to download the dictionary for your language when you do have Wi-Fi access. You type in either English or another language, and it will instantly translate, even giving phrases a word would typically be used in. Or you could speak an English word or phrase, and it will orally translate it to the other language. A lot of people use Groupon and Living Social and such to find deals on places to go at home, but they don't think to use it on a trip. These are good to see if there are any special deals being offered in your travel destination that could save you some money. Depending on where you're going and your service plan, your phone carrier could charge extensive fees for roaming or data charges. But there are some free or nearly free options if you absolutely have to keep in touch while on vacation. As we've learned during the pandemic, these include Google, Zoom, FaceTime, etc. Just remember your username and passwords. These may be automatically on your home computer to log you in, but not on one you'd use in a hotel lobby or other device. Nothing is more frustrating than to not be able to access your favorite communication tool. If you don't want to wait until you get home to share some of your pictures and experiences, you have any number of ways to do just that with various journal and photo repositories. Travel Diaries lets you compile an online journal in a professional, engaging way. Yes, I know I've already said it. Warning, read the privacy notices and third-party uses for your photos before you do something like this. I like to extend my trip and relive the memories through making a calendar. Every month for the next year, then, I turn the page, and for a whole month, I'm reminded of scenes that were special to me. Shutterfly, Vistaprint, and many others let you design hard copy memories like calendars or coffee mugs. Look for coupon or promo codes. I know they flood my email on a regular basis. Flickr and Dropbox come in handy if you max out your camera card. But again, read the privacy and ownership terms. Google Drive is another place to uplink documents and pictures, but you'd need to have a free Google email account before you do that. I have a few other odds and ends of apps on my devices, from just for fun things like books and movies, Sirius XM, Pandora, or games, and more useful ones as well, such as Find My Phone in case it's lost or stolen. Make sure, though, to copy down your important numbers from under the general category in settings on your phone ahead of time. And then there's the QR code reader. This is being used by many parks, museums, and site displays these days. You point your reader camera on your device at the code, and it will show you additional information about what you're seeing. The one on my handout takes you to my website. Another major resource, my site. Get inspired by the photos and commentary about regions I've been to, and get important tips on vital passport and insurance information under my More tab, as well as information about the STEP program. That's for Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, and also for the new ATIAS requirement for U.S. travelers to the EU starting in 2021. The cost for that is expected to be about €7 for individuals over the age of 18. At the moment, people under 18 will not be charged a fee. Also, here you'll find links to important government sites. I hope you've enjoyed this program and found some interesting new tools to use. I like to end all of my programs by paraphrasing Dr. Seuss. Sometimes you don't appreciate the moment until it becomes a memory, and I add to that my own advice: always remember to celebrate the moments and treasure those memories. To download your travel planner or digital tools website sheet, or to check out any of my European destinations, go to my website. If you have any questions about this program, email me or use the contact page on my website. When libraries are again offering programs, you can check my programs tab to see where I'll be. Until then, visit the library site for more video vacations by Savvy Sightseer. Stay healthy and keep on imagining your ideal trip and planning for where you'll go next.